are now proceeding towards our first technical session, that is on industry perspectives of meat and poultry processing and validation. Dear participants, if you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. We will bring them after the end of the session. Now, further delay, we will proceed to the first technical session on meat and poultry processing and validation. For this session, we have with us Dr. Mahesh P.S. Sir, Joint Commissioner and Director, Central Poultry Development Organization and Training Institute, Bangalore, will be delivering the session for startup and entrepreneurship oriented for meat and poultry processing sector. He is the session chair for the today's session and will be delivering the special address. Before starting the session, I would like to introduce Sir to you. He holds a degree postgraduate in virology from IIMB, Bangalore, Karnataka. He is presently serving as the Joint Commissioner Director of the Center of Excellence of Animal Husbandry, Government of India, a premier academy for animal husbandry in India since 1st April 2023. He worked in various capacities in private sector, autonomous institution, and center and state animal husbandry sectors in India. He represented in VIV Europe 2018 in the Netherlands and presented a talk on prospectus and opportunity in the Indian poultry sector. He is an advisory member to various veterinary universities of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka, an expert member of various committees such as BIS, FAD 18, NABARD, ASCI, and Institution of Veterinaries of Poultry Industry. Recently, he won the Professor G. Devagowda Poultry Science Excellence Awards in 2022 on the World Veterinary Day, 30th April 2022 by Pashudhan Prahari and National Award of CLFMA for the year 2018 at Goa. I welcome you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all. I'm Dr. Mahesh, and this presentation is as my colleague briefed. It will be on. I would like to title it on a little differently so that you can have a whole lot of idea. Technology adoption in poultry and poultry processing sector. I'm heading Center of Excellence for Animal Husbandry, which is a new academy of animal husbandry in Bangalore, Hesarghatta. It comprises almost like 5 institutions put together. It is almost like CPDO, TI, CFSPTI, RFS, Regional Forest Station, and then AQCS like that. So now if I move to the next slide. Yeah. See, the flow of presentation is in this format. I'll be briefing about myself, Indian poultry sector, technology adoption, processing sector, and then trend. What is the trend setters already available and what is the future? So this is me. Those of you who know me, I think you all know that I belong to Bangalore. I did my master's in virology. I did MBA from IIMB. None other than the richest man in India. I received the degree in 2011. And this is me representing in US, in USDA. And this is in VIV Europe. I represented India as a lone speaker there for addressing 140 countries. And this is Indo-German meat. And Muthukumar and all the processing people will be surprised why Germans came to Bangalore. Bangalore, they came because they want to trade for piggery, pork meat they want to sell. They are producing 3 times the quantity of meat which is required for them. That means they are here for you to make the money run for it. That means they are entering into India. And this is me as a central team leader for drought assessment. You can see here, this is a great role a veterinarian can take it. I felt like almost traveling 7 districts and enjoying the hospitality of the rural areas for challenging things. And this is my hobby now. I'm a freelance speaker in many forums. And now I'm giving degrees. Earlier I used to receive degrees. Now I am giving degrees in the constitution, convocation for many occasions, right? And now let us enter into our sector. What is the attraction of processing sector? Why we have to be there? So this is in nutshell. You can see here our population was only 1.9 billion. Now it is going to touch almost like 10 billion. So you have to feed so much of 1,000 crores of people. At least imagine that even 1 square meal, 2 square meal, lot of quantum of food is required. So this is a challenge for us. 8,000 years, whatever we produced, we have to produce in next 40 years. In next 40 years, right? You can see here, the statistics here is, like We are number one in milk. Number one in milk production, almost 230 million metric tons. Those of you want to understand in terms of liters, almost like 12 to 15 crore liters we are producing per day. And our eggs is 128 billion eggs per year. This again in day terms you can calculate, it is something like 25 to 20 crore eggs per day. And coming to meat, we are producing around 10 million metric tons of meat, and poultry stands at 52%. That means nearly 6 million metric tons. And those of you who doesn't know how to gauge the animal husbandry sector, I feel proud that it is almost like 15 lakh crores. 15 lakh crore is something like double the automobile sector. We are producing the GNP, gross national produce, more than the automobile sector double. And poultry, I always, I'm a protagonist of poultry. I'm a passionate poultry person for last 30 years. We say that poultry is equal to TCS because Tata Consultancy Services also produces Keval, 2 lakh crores, and we are also producing 2 lakh crores. So we are producing 2 lakh crores, and it is going into almost contributing for 6 million jobs. Whereas this TCS gives only job for 6 lakh people. So moving ahead, if you see, why are we here for the protein? So protein, many of you only think about processing. Let me give you a background of the setting for the today's workshop, because we are a nation with lots of rice, lots of wheat. So what has happened is, because of the food revolution, we are more into North India producing wheat, South India producing rice. We have become a diabetes capital of the world. So now please understand, we are almost like 78% protein deficiency. If you see the great capsule available, if you see the eggs, full of capsule of minerals, full of capsule of, the vitamins. See, my statement in all the forums, I say, dawa mat khao, anda khao. Dawa mat khao, anda khao. So even if you take 2 eggs in the morning, 2 eggs in the evening, मतलब सुबह 2 अंडा, शाम को 2 अंडा, हफ्ते में 3 बार मुर्गी, आपको फिर भी मिलेगा 50% protein. So that is the crux of availability of protein. So now let us move on to the profile of the poultry sector. Those of you who are watching prospects in processing, you can understand here. These are the numbers to think. Broilers, almost like 1.2 crore per day. Table eggs, 20 to 25 crore eggs per day. Broiler breeders, 4 crore. Broilers, 5 billion. Layer, 300 million. So you can see why we are commanding world number 2 in egg production, world number 5 in broiler production. This is the numbers. And if you want to see the details of it, you can see here, we are producing almost 1.1 crore broilers per day, 25 crore eggs per day. But the advantage for our sector is we are growing 8 to 10% year on year. Year on year, 8 to 10%. So 4 to 6% we are growing on egg production. You can see here, 95% is, our whole chicken. 95% is whole chicken. This is the live bird, which is a market which is problematic. Probably you would have seen here, Licious. Licious is a great contributor to the category of processing. So they are now unicorns, almost $1.2 billion of worth. We are very happy to say that Center of Excellence played a part of role in the beginning of the setting up of the startup. So now if you see, the 1% is the processing sector. Coming into egg sector, again, egg is traditionally, if you see, we were habituated to take eggs in plastic cover. Now it is changing. We are going for a wrapping up of, neatly on the wrap of 30 trays. And even this nicely done boxes are available, curtain boxes where some 10 paisa, 20 paisa additional cost. Similarly, if you see egg liquid is very, very popular these days by a company called Best. And we have even egg paneer. Egg paneer is available. Egg paneer is going into a great area. And my dream for all the people of processing, including NRC meat and DIFTEM, is, can we see a pouch of, like a shampoo pouch of eggs, so that, our people can open up and pour it and to use it. You know the shampoo story. Shampoo didn't click when they released for a big bottle. When they released in a smaller bottle for 1 rupee, 5 rupee, so it became a big hit. So dream for processing is, can we have egg in sachet like a shampoo? Once you have in a shampoo, the sky is the limit. Now come to the broiler market. So why are we worried about broiler market? We always say that this is Varna Chakra. Varna Chakra means, colorful, chart of rates. If you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 areas: Kartika, Lent, Ramnavami, Shravan, Ganesh, Navratri, Deepavali. All these periods, farmer has to sell below the production cost because there's no demand. People start refusing to consume chicken. So that is where my vision is. Can we process? Can we store it? Can we have it for the future? So that is a dream. You have to think on that. So this is a beautiful picture for you to show how a broiler farm should be there. The broiler farm, my simple statement is no construction. There is no construction. It is called a plug and play model. You can see stone here, iron, asbestos and kadapa slabs, and then beautifully done automation system. These are the birds which are very, very regularly going for processing because of the uniformity. Next, I move into layers. So layers again is a magic. Almost, 1.3 kilo bird having 300 million population, producing around 320 eggs. 320 eggs. This is a magical bird for you. And then how a layer farm. Those of you who have not seen a layer farm, this is a typical layer farm at the age of 25 weeks. And you can see here, it is beautiful. 3 eggs, 3 birds. 3 birds, 3 eggs. 3 birds, 3 birds. So that is how a beautiful system of production is done. And then if you see, this is the breeding bird. These are the couples where you get the broiler being produced. So you all know broiler chicks. This is the 6, and then broilers you have seen. These couples, parents produce hatching eggs. That means eggs with life. And if you see here, what is the technology adoption today? So now I want you all to concentrate. India is the leader in digital infrastructure. You know that we are the leaders in digital physical infrastructure, whether you take it as Aadhaar, whether you take it as COVID app, whether you take UPI, whether you take our toll taxes. We are the world leaders. UPI today is almost like 1 billion transactions per day. America is learning from us. Europe is learning from us. Our toll collections per day is 100 crores per day digitally. So are we not taking it to our poultry sector? Definitely we are taking. You see here, we are adopting brooding to cull, entire digitization, integration. You can see automation. So these are the 3 pillars where I will be showing you how processing requires this backup. Don't just think that processing can happen from any bird, anything. You need to have uniformity. You need to have a good product. You need to have an efficiency. So when I showed this farm in Europe, they could not believe. Do we have such farms in India? So you can make a note. There is one company called Sneha, which is in Hyderabad. They are producing every day 3 lakh birds, 3 lakh birds. That means, you can have 1 shed, 1 lakh. Like, if you have 5 sheds, 5 lakh birds. So these are the possibilities happening in India. You can see here now bag-free system. You can just have a silo. Then the truck comes here and fills up a silo. Broilers will be ready without a touch. So that is the beauty of our system now. You can see layer farming. It is totally automated. Sitting here, you can operate your layer farm. You can see entirely controlled feed distribution, egg distribution. Everybody can work sitting in your laptop now as I'm addressing into Tanjavur and to all across India and the world. So this is a technology-driven India now. And if you see this picture, I want you all to take 20 seconds or 10 seconds to observe the master art. What is this master art? Please write down Mega Poultry Farm. MEGHA, Mega Poultry Farm in Mysore. Entire setup requires only 90 days. Nut and bolt system. 1 labor, 50,000 birds, totally automated collection of eggs and totally automated system of rearing. That is how the beautiful system is happening in India. Whenever you want to see a breeding farm, many of us, biosecurity, quarantine, all this we learned only of this corona. But Muthukumar and me, we know that last 30 years we have been seeing our breeding farms so beautiful. You can see the biosecurity system is so thorough. If you want to enter into the poultry farm, you need to have a shower. You need to have a shower, then only you can go into the thing. Then you can see here, what are the technology adaptation people are doing it in the poultry or processing. I don't know how many of you know, inventory management is a great system, and lot management, auto batching of birds, traceability. And we are now going for dust-free feed mills, state-of-art premix unit, Auto silo management, because you may be thinking, how are the feed is stored? Feeds is stored in great silos. We have auto backing, vendor analysis, etc., etc. Now, if you see, can you believe this is a feed mill of a poultry company? It is far better than a Taj hotel. If you can see here, beautiful silos, and beautiful silos where you can fill in our maize and you can fill our soya. Please see this background when you eat your chicken. Chicken comes from such a great feed mill, which is balanced feed. Me and Muthukumar may not have such good quality of food for ourselves. And if you see our own friend, we have established a dust-free feed mill. You can ask me, sir, why is it dust-free required? See, dust-free in the sense not to make ourselves aesthetically look good. In poultry, money saved is money made. You have to save every gram. This is my own batchmate who is now almost turnover of 350 crore, Sriya Poultry Farm, Sriya Farms in Bengaluru. And now let us move on to hatchery. You all know broilers, but broilers come from where? So you will be getting a hatching egg from breeding farm, which I showed. From the breeding farm, today we are going for single stage hatcheries. Lakhs and loads of eggs are loaded into the machine. We are monitoring the chick before it hatches. So you would have seen a book on learn the chicken before it hatches. Like that, you see auto fumigation, auto monitoring, in vivo vaccination. This is all happening in India. When I show this picture for you, you'll be surprised. Sir is showing some European picture. No, these are all farms of our own Indian poultry farmers where beautifully they have set up a hatchery like Venkateshwara, Sukuna, IB, Skylark, etc., etc. There are about 20 leaders there. This is the inside picture for you. Almost like 1.5 lakh eggs are loaded. So this is the beauty of our poultry, totally digitized. You can see digitally marked, single stage incubation. All these 1.5 lakh eggs are from the same day. So now let us move to your interesting part, which is processing. I have another 10 minutes for you to understand. Beautifully, you can see in India, we have state-of-art processing plants. State-of-art processing plants to the level of almost like 1 lakh birds per day. In Davanagere, in Karnataka, almost 250 kilometers north of Bengaluru, we have set up a beautiful plant in India by Venkateshwara Group, which is almost like 1 lakh birds per day. And it is totally European Union compliant. Such plants are very common, 40,000, 30,000, 20,000. And there is one plant in Bengaluru, which is by name Protac. Protac is a custom manufacturing unit wherein people give birds, he processes requirement-based branding and gives you back. So everything is programmable, logical control, PLC, traceability of a batch. Even you can do a batch tracing, farmer tracing, when it is cut. So all these are applied in poultry. Can you surprise? Barcoding, QR codes are available in the product. When you scan it, you can see what is the traceability of the bird, where it is coming, etc. And now if you see the meat production, this is the latest statistics. Those of you who are interested in this PPT can write to me. I'll give the whole thing. So total meat production today is 10 million metric tons. So 10 million metric tons are produced. Out of that, you can see poultry commands a greater share. And if you see here, our India is famous for non-vegetarian, especially now you are in Tamil Nadu, it is 96%. All over India, you can see eastern part and southern part is fully championed for non-vegetarian eating. And if you see which are the QSRs, if you see the QSRs, you all know that where is that processing chicken going on. See, every nook and corner you are finding these days, KFCs, McDonald's, Burger Kings, Domino's, etc. So this is the number. Almost in northern region, 610 total QSR available. This data, I leave it to you. I share this PPT and a PDF and a format to the NIFTM faculty. They can distribute to you later. And this is the quality inspection which is happening. Every bird is inspected in the channel. So nothing is given for chance. So that is how we are going. Now, if you see the internal system of processing, everywhere you have intervention, quality measurement, HACCP certifications, ISO 14,000, ISO 22,000. Rest assured, when you are consuming a protein that is poultry from a processing plant, it is all certified. Now, if you see who are the leaders, I promised you that who are the trendsetters. In-house leaders, that means people who are having poultry company, they have entered into processing. For example, Sneha, Nandus, Lifeline, Shalimar, Indian Broiler, Suguna, Venkis. In this, you have a unicorn. Licious is founded by Abhay Anjura and Vivek, good friends of mine. They have set up in 2015. First month order was 15. Now their order per month is 3 million and they are operating in 43 cities. Similarly, Fresh to Home, again started by a game engineer called Sean. Fantastic takeaway. Now he is operating in Dubai. Even they are going into Middle East, etc. Similarly, you have Zap Fresh, Miamo, Captain Fresh, Egos, Health Fruit. Today, my advice to the listeners is, please take this digital highway. So digital highway is something like, you focus on your product, you focus on your area, you become a champion of processing and go on that. So this is a beautiful photograph for you to see the products. Starting from Licia, starting from Fresh to Home, Sneha, you have, Godrej, Tyson, Suguna, Venkis, Nandus, Tendercuts, etc., etc., etc. Now entirely we are, bombarded with brands. Only thing is the quality wins. So brand may give you a feel, but the quality has to be consistent and maintained. And now come to data management is very, very important because we have joined through online. Now everything has to be on 3Ps. What is 3P? Production, prediction, prescription. So that means you should use the data of production to predict and to forecast what is that you are doing. Companies are spending crores of rupees to develop startups. Today, people believe that I can do a startup, I'll take the questions. See, the issue is, can you manage a problem statement? What is your problem statement? What is the area of address you want to do? What is the niche value you bring into the table? So these are the things one has to decide. Now, if you see the trendsetter, I want to show the pictures. This is Abhay Anjura. He was a simple insurance advisor, chartered accountant Vivek Kapoor from UP. He is from Srinagar. They came to Bangalore, set up a unicorn, which is a proud moment for India and changing the category. Similarly, if you see, Sean is my good friend again. He is a game engineer. He was dealing with games of Zynga, and he has come and established a beautiful company called Fresh to Home. And this is the beauty of poultry. He is the third generation gentleman doing Nandus. My good friend Naren, you can see the swanky car here because of hard work. And this is the ex-Mobiquick guys. They were working in Mobiquick. They started Zap Fresh. Zap Fresh is my, Dipanshu, a good friend of mine. You can see here Nandish Gowda. He has set up a company called Captain Fresh. He deals with B2B. B2B, can you believe he buys from Norway the fish? Next day it will be available in Bangalore. That is how it is happening. And similarly, our good engineer from Chennai, he started a company called Tendercuts. This is a surprise moment for all of you. We think that IIT Kharagpur guys will go out to USA. They have not gone to USA. They have come to India. And good friend of mine, Abhishek Negi, he chose to settle in India. And they have 4 people have set up a layer project. Layer project, they are producing eggs with a branding of called Egos, EGGOZ. They are now disrupting the market with an MRP of 16 rupees, 18 rupees an egg. Why? Because traceability, application of IoT, etc. And this is again another interesting story for you. Differently able gentleman, Mr. Ashokan, he has won the award for most promising entrepreneur award. Why? Because he has created a company called Happy Hens. Happy Hens, beautifully they have put a tagline, Happy Hens give happy eggs. Almost $50 an egg they are selling. And these are the trendsetters for you. And see the advertisements, they're pumping in money. Full page advertisement companies are giving. This is all mouth-watering ideas they have come. Even we are covered in the Economic Times. So our entire article was on processing. You can see this is as late as 2018. People started covering about our sector. And you can see even in the India's premier channel, CNBC TV 18, along with ID Foods and Epidemia, the companies of India, and even you can see this is the unicorn raising $200 million. These are the shops for you, beautiful shops. Please do like this, simple. And you see another leader in our sector is Lifeline. Lifeline is established by Chikmagaluru Kishore Hegde. Fantastic. I call him as Mr. Perfectionist. Beautiful shops, very simple idea, giving a clean meat. As we are talking about clean milk, clean meat is a great idea. And the greatest of the all is this one, Coastal Chicken. Can you see, established alongside of a jewelry shop? Alongside of a jewelry shop, a chicken shop can be established means think of the confidence of the processor. Think of the confidence of the processing gentleman who has taken a risk of setting up in a business complex a chicken shop. We call them as protein stores now. Another interesting aspect of processing is egg story. This is established by my good friend called Yogesh Makashi. He almost says to me, sir, I want to release one egg, 75 rupees. How do you say one egg, 75 rupees is one omelette is almost 250 rupees, Mexican omelette. Even, Pakshi Pal, people have started Pakshi Pal as a brand. Pakshi Pal is a brand called, like white egg. Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh want to call egg as a Pakshi Pal. They branded it as hen fruit. It is again hitting the market. Almost 7 lakh eggs are being traded every month in Chandigarh. So concludingly, we have developed a podcast series from our academy. I promised you that I'll hold you for 30-minute class. SIA Academy podcast, we have done 9 podcasts on different areas. Please log in. I'll share the link to the faculty of NIFTEM. So you can log in and see the leaders. Already we have done 9 and I'm coming out with the next one on a dairy also. Keep watching us. That is how we go. The final statement is, see the company called Arthur Food. Anybody, I don't know how many of you know this company. He is my good friend Arthur, is a German. Married to an Indian lady, has set up a company in Bangalore. See the statement, German quality made in India. That means German quality can also be made in India. That is the strength of India today. Ladies and gentlemen, gear up for your future. I would wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and attention. This is my mail ID. This is my number. I wish all the audience who are watching from NIFTEM and NRC Meet and across the India and globe, try to become this fish. So once you become this fish, you will discover many things. Thank you so much. I stop my screen sharing here. So let us come to understanding of this thing. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a valuable knowledge. And I hope participants got encouraged and get new ideas about the meat and poultry. Moving ahead with the next technical talk, which is on meat and poultry processing and value addition and research advances. For this session, we have with us Dr. M. Muthukumar, Principal Scientist, NRCM, Hyderabad. I would like quickly introduce sir to you. He did PhD in College of Veterinary Science, Hyderabad, Sir Venkateshwara Veterinary University, Tirupati, and he did PGD TMA in University of Hyderabad and NAARM. He has 2 years of experience in integrated export meat plants and 15 years of research, extension, and teaching experience. He has worked on 5 projects sponsored by MOFP, DBT, EPIDA, and ICR and 11 institute projects. He is instrumental in establishing an experimental abattoir, poultry processing unit, mobile exhibition unit, agri-business incubation center, nutrients and chemical residues lab at NRC on Meat Science and Technology, Hyderabad. He played a key role in getting GI status to Hyderabad Halim. He has 40 research articles to his credit and authorized 4 books and prepared 2 videos. He was a member of the advisory committee of 6 postgraduate students of livestock product technology. He is also serving as treasurer of Indian Meat Science Association and associate director, editor for Journal of Meat Science. He has organized 2 ICF short course training and 1 DOE model training and one national conference and 1 national workshop on traceability and several batches and entrepreneurs training. As an officer in charge for Institute Management and ABI Center, he is centrally involved in all the commercialization of technologies. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So very good morning to all. At the outset, I thank the organizer for inviting me to interact with the participants. Honorable Director NIFTEM, Dr. Palanimuthu sir, Honorable Director NMRI, Dr. Barbade sir, and my earlier speaker, distinguished speaker, and most decorated scientist of, from CPDO, Dr. Magesh sir, and all the distinguished faculties and speakers, and also dear participants. So I think you have Dr. Magesh has taken you overview of the meat sector and particularly the poultry and broiler sector. So you know that what are the opportunities available and what are the potential exist in the sector. So I am here in my presentation. I am going to take next slide, please, ma'am. So I am going to take the what are the avenues available for meat processing and value addition. So you know that the meat naturally it's an super functional food having a lot of macro and micronutrient. Not only that one, it is also have high biological availability because whatever the nutrients available in the meat are easily digestible and absorbed into the system. So the digestibility of the nutrient available in meats are very high. That's why the animal proteins are superior than the plant-based protein. In addition, you just when you consume 100 gram of meat, so you will get about 50% of your protein daily protein requirement. Not only the protein, also the other minerals and vitamins. So such a wonderful food is provided by the nature is the meat. So in addition to the nutrient, the meat also has certain nutraceuticals. That is a health promoting common, maybe CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, the long chain omega-3 fatty acids like EPA, DHA, and also the health promoting selenium and zinc are plenty in meat and meat product. And also meat has the iron in most observable form. Not only that, when you eat meat along with the some food supplement, especially the iron supplement, the meat increase the absorption of the iron from the food supplement. So that is called meat factor. So this is the wholesome of the. I just tell about the wholesomeness of the meat. Next slide, please. So since civilization, the next slide, please. Yeah, since civilization, the human efforts are made in such a way to ensure the food security. So they want to always store the food for the future. So that to store that one, they need to be preserved, and the food should be stabilized, and it should be have a extended period of shelf life. So that is one of the major efforts of human race to ensure the food security. So then, not only they stopped with ensuring the food security, but they want the meat to be more tasty and also healthy, and also it is a more affordable way. So that is why they have evolved various technology over a period of time. So this value-added and processing technology we can group into three important categories. So those technology which are aimed to extend the shelf life of meat. You know that meat is highly perishable commodity. So even if you leave the meat in the room temperature for 3 to 4 hours, it will get spoiled. So we have to have a technology which can extend the shelf life and it can be stored it. And also the second technologies, they are focused on improving the quality attribute. So we are not happy with what is available also. We have to improve the quality of the meat which is offered to us. And the third one is we have to make them food which is offered to us is more healthy and give a health benefit to the consumers. So these are the three major categories. So I will be going to discuss about various technologies grouped under these three categories. Next one, please. So we all know that the meat per se in the animal, live animal, the muscle is sterile. But during the process of slaughtering, storing, transporting, and handling, so meat get contaminated with the microbial flora. So the presence of microbial population is a very big threat to the shelf life of the meat and meat product. And similarly, the meat is known for its high fat content. So in the presence of oxygen and light, so these fat react with those things, and it will lead to a condition called oxidative rancidity. In addition to that one, there will be a lot of enzymes in the present in the meat itself that also go for the rancidity in the meat. So they will this all the process will lead to a shortage of the shelf life of the meat and meat product. So that is why we have evolved certain technologies where the microbial populations is controlled and the growth is retarded, and also we have protected the meat from exposure to the oxygen and the light. Next one, please. So we can, there are several huddle technologies, maybe using a high temperature or a low temperature, or reducing the water content in the food, or increasing or decreasing the pH, maybe making the food as acidic or highly alkaline food, and also removing the presence of the oxygen and protecting the meat from the light through proper packaging method, and also adding certain preservatives, so that these are the some of the hurdles employed to make the meat less prone to microbial spoilage and extend the shelf life. Next one, please. Next one, please. Yeah. So the decontamination, I already told that the meat in the live animal is very, very, almost we can say it's a sterile one. But during the process of slaughtering and the storing, preserving, transporting, and even handling during this process, make the meat is more prone to microbial contamination, especially the dressing operations from the GI tract and the skin. So a lot of bacterial contamination happens in the meat processing activity, and thereby the microbial load of the meat get increased. Next one, please. So we have to evolve certain mechanism whereby the surface microbial load is reduced. So the decontaminants are one of the major important aspect wherein these chemicals can be applied over the carcass. Thereby we can reduce the surface microbial load, starting from the chlorine, the traditional organic acids, even the hydrogen peroxide, peracetic acid, so that there are so many chemicals are available for decontamination purpose. These chemicals are having a potency in reducing the microbial load. So of late, people are very much bothered about the presence of chemical residues in the meat and meat product. So they want certain natural antimicrobial agents so that the residue of the chemicals can be avoided. So based upon that one, lot of phytochemicals from the spices and herbs were been evolved, like cinnamaldehyde, carvacol, thymol, eugenol. There are so many compounds are extracted from the herbs and plants, and these have the lot of antibacterial potential. Even in our institutes, we have tried clove, pomegranate peel, even grapeseed extract, thyme, drumstick leaves extract, rosemary extract. All those things we have tried in using the meat and meat product, and we could see a drastical reduction, significant reduction in the microbial load of the meat and meat product. Even our institute, we are trying now bacteriophages as an alternative technology for the chemical biocides. So these are some of the decontaminant available for reducing the microbial load in the meat product. Thereby, we can extend the shelf life of meat and meat product. Next one, please. So these are some of the publication wherein we have used plant-based phytochemicals to extend the shelf life of meat by controlling the bacterial growth as well as preventing the oxidative rancidity. Next one. So world over, there are many laboratories are working on usage of the phytochemicals to address the total spoilage microbes as well as the pathogenic organisms. Even they are targeting specific pathogenic organisms like E. coli, Salmonella, and by using the specific phytochemicals, they are able to control this one, retard their growth, and also even reduce their load in the meat and meat product. Next one, please. So we also used the ozone. So ozone is the one of the latest decontaminant available to reduce the microbial load in food product. So this the main advantage of ozone is when it is used, it will does not leave any residues in this one. So that is the major advantage of using the ozone as a decontaminant. We also tried in our laboratory at the 10 ppm level. We could see a drastic reduction in the level of and microbes in the carcasses, especially chicken and sheep carcasses. Next one. So then we can also use the steam as a steam pasteurization, one of the method to reduce the surface microbial contamination. In this process, the dressed carcass are passed through the steam cabinet, so where the steam is injected over the carcass for a fraction of few seconds, and the temperature, surface temperature of the carcass is elevated to around 85 degrees centigrade. So anything more than 75 will destroy most of the spoilage and pathogenic organisms. So after that, immediately after coming out of the steam chamber, the carcass will be sprayed with cold water to reduce the cooking effect of the steam. So this is also one of the very simple physical, and it does not leave any residues on the carcass. So this is one of the best method to reduce the microbial contamination on the surface of the carcass. Next one, please. So then retard processing, you all know that this is one of the best technology to produce a self-stable meat product. So in this process, the packed the meat product packed in the retard pouches. There are specific pouches are available which has a polyester film and the aluminum foil and also polypropylene laminates. So these pouches, the products are loaded in the pouches, sealed and kept in the retard process machine, and it will be exposed to a a temperature of about 121 degrees centigrade at 15 psi pressure for a certain period of time. So during this process, almost every organism get destroyed. So because of that one, the complete sterilization, commercial sterilization happens during the retard processing, make the product self-stable at room temperature, even for a duration of 3 months. Some products, based upon the presence of the fat level and the texture and the composition of the product, even that can be stored for more than a 6-month period at room temperature. So that is the best of this technology. So this is one of the best technology to produce a self-stable meat product. Next one, please. And also the traditional cured and smoked meat product is also one of the technology evolved to extend the shelf life. So here the heating during the cooking as well as smoking process, and the drying happens during the curing as well as the cooking process, and also the antimicrobial agents present in the smoke, all will put together extend the shelf life of the meat product. So the cured and smoked product is one of the value added product developed using the principles of reducing the moisture level, and also heat sterilization, and also using the antimicrobial agent to extend the shelf life of meat and meat product. Next one, please. So then we are going to the towards the low temperature preservation. So the chilling is one of the very popular, most commercially practiced method to extend the shelf life of meat and meat product. So in the chilling process, the meat and meat products are stored at a temperature between a 0 to 4 degrees centigrade. So because of that one, the microbial growth is retarded, and the chilled meat will have a shelf life of about 3 to 5 days, based upon the composition and the initial microbial load. So this is the most popular and highly practiced extension method followed for the meat and meat product. Next one, please. So nowadays, the in addition to the chilling, there is another method is getting popular, is the super chilling. So this is the method where it falls between the chilling and the freezing method. So the temperature of the meat is kept below the chilling, but slightly above the freezing. Normally, meat is get freezed at minus 1.5 degrees centigrade. So here the super chilled meat is kept a temperature between minus 0.5 to minus 1 degree centigrade. So because of that one, the outer crust of the meat product is getting frozen, and the inner core remains chill. So because of this one, the meat product has extended shelf life. So we have tried the combination of super chilling along with the vacuum packaging, and we could get about a month period of shelf life for a meat and meat product. Next one. So then the most industrial use of self-life extension method is the freezing. So all the export-oriented plants and industries, the institutional suppliers, although they practice the freezing, because this is a method where the meat product can be stored even 6 months to 1 year or above 1 year also. So this method removes the water available in the meat from the microbial usage, and also the very low temperature almost destroys the microbes present in the meat. So that's why the frozen meat has a shelf life of few more than of 6 months to 1 year period. So this is the most commonly practiced industrial method to extend the shelf life of meat and meat product. Next one, please. Then commonly now the technology, high pressure technology, even the NIFTM has the center for excellence for the non-thermal processing. So this is a high pressure processing is one of the recent method which is more currently under exploration to make it a commercial technology. So but still research is underway, and because of the product here is subject to a pressure of 100 to 600 megapascal. So with this high pressure range, most of the bacterial cell walls get busted and they get destroyed. And the advantage here is it's a non-thermal processing, so the temperature of the product never goes up. So that's why the nutrients are preserved here. But still, a lot of work need to be done and make it commercial venture. Next one, please. So then the age-old practice of making a pickle. Somebody was asking, want to develop entrepreneurship in the pickle preparation. So we have the technology, we have standardized the technology, and a few of our entrepreneurs are already in this business. Even the Bloom is one of our incubating. He has developed the product and the marketing is there. So this pickle, how the shelf life of the pickle is extended. Even we are able to store the pickle at room temperatures. Here the environment, this meat product is made as acidic, so the pH of the pickle will be reduced to below 4, so that the bacteria cannot grow and multiply in this acidic environment. That's why the product will have a shelf life of about 2 to 3 months also at room temperature. So that is one of the very age old technology to extend the shelf life and store the meat, preserve the meat for longer period of time. Similarly, the dried meat, so it is also very traditional product, but nowadays in combination of technologies like the solar drying and also pre-cooking, curing, all those things are put into make this product more self-stable, because the rancidity is one of the problem with the dried meat product. So we can incorporate some of the antioxidant and extend their shelf life. Even you can use the vacuum packaging and some other antioxidant, natural antioxidant, to extend the shelf life of dry product. So this is also one of the wonderful technology to extend the shelf life for a longer period, and this product can be stored at room temperature. Even especially the South Asian countries, even the northeastern part of the India. So these dried meat products are very well relished by these people. Next one, please. So now we are talking. So far, we have talked about the microbial contamination and how we have the technology is developed to reduce their microbial load and extend the shelf life. Now we are going to the second part of that one. So that is because of the presence of high level of fat in meat and meat product. So in the presence of oxygen and light, the fat reacts with this product, and the oxidative rancidity is produced, and certain harmful chemical and the foul smelling volatiles are produced that will lead to shortage of the shelf life of the product. And also meat also has inbuilt certain enzymes. So these also like lipase and peroxidase. So these also react with meat and produce certain unwanted compounds, and lead to spoilage of the meat. Next one, please. So now we'll move on to the technologies which are meant to reduce the oxidative rancidity and extend the shelf life. So the vacuum packaging is very commercially practiced method. So wherein the environment around the product is made completely oxygen free. So after placing the meat product into the packages, all the air surround the product are sucked out and completely sealed. So these pouches also having very low oxygen transmission rate also. So because of this one, in the absence of oxygen, the aerobic bacteria stops growing, but and also the oxidative rancidity due to the presence of oxygen also reduced. Because of this one, the combination of chilling as well as vacuum packaging extend the shelf life to a longer period. And the vacuum packaging is very much essential for the processed meat product, where the product is comminuted and exposed to oxygen and salt. So because of this one, the vacuum packaging will reduce the oxidative rancidity and thereby extend the shelf life. So this vacuum packaging is very important for not only the fresh meat, but also very important for the processed value added meat product. Next one, please. So then active packaging. So we have seen how the vacuum packaging, initially during packing itself, the oxygen is removed and sealed. So here there is a compound is placed inside the packaging material. Mostly the ferrous iron is placed, sachet of the ferrous iron is placed inside the packaging material, and this ferrous iron scavenge the oxygen present in the atmosphere of the meat product, and whatever the oxygens available within the meat atmosphere of the meat is sucked out by this ferrous iron, and it makes the almost similar to the vacuum packaging. So because of this one, in the absence of oxygen, so there will not be any aerobic bacterial growth, and also there will not be any oxidative rancidity. Next one, please. So this is the packaging material where the sachet of the ferrous is adhere to the packaging material, and it will absorb the residual oxygen present within the atmosphere. Next one, please. So we can also add certain phytochemicals which have a lot of antioxidant potential, because the oxidative rancidities are initiated because of the presence of the free radicals. So these are antioxidants, they have a lot of electron to be donated. So these antioxidants, they have free electrons. So these electrons will be taken by the free radical, and they become stabilized. So because of this one, the oxidative rancidity, the reaction got stopped, and the product shelf life will be extended. So there are a lot of products, especially the minced meat products, are added with plant-based antioxidants, and thereby the shelf life of the minced meats are getting extended, and the spoilage due to oxidative rancidity is prevented. Next one. So we also tried a lot of experiment using the antioxidant, and we could see that better a lot of improvement in the extension of the shelf life of meat and meat product, and it has reduced the microbial load, as well as the rancidity product like T-bars value and all got reduced during the storage period. Next one, please. So then we are moving to the second category of the technology. So these technologies are mainly intended to improve the sensory attributes, especially. So when meat is there, there are main three important sensory attributes are color or appearance of the product, the texture, and the juiciness. So various technologies have been evolved to enhance the color as well as the texture and juiciness of the meat and meat product. Next one, please. So here, the especially when the age of the animal is very important to have the tender meat. So normally the meat from the aged animals will be tougher because of the presence of higher quantum of the connective tissues. So the blade and needle tenderizers. So they when the boneless meat chunks are placed into the needle and blade tenderizer, they will cut and fragment the connective tissue. Because of the fragmentation, the toughness of the meat is reduced. Thereby we can improve the tenderness of the meat through this mechanical devices. So for salvaging high tough meat, so we can use this tenderizing method. So thereby we can improve the tenderness of the meat and make them unpalatable meat into a palatable meat. Next one, please. And the next technology is the comminution process. Next one, please. So here we are using the mincer and the choppers, bowl choppers. So these are the ultimate technology to make the unpalatable tough meat into a very value-added, tasty product. So here the meat particles are the whole meat is converted into small particles, and that will be used for making various value-added products. Because the meat is particulated or comminuted, so the connective tissue will be fragmented, and because of that one, the tenderness of the product got improved. So this is the best way to salvage the tough meat. So we can use the minced and bowl chopped meat for making various emulsion based meat product, and this will have a very palatable attributes. Next one, please. Next one, please. Yeah. So the high pressure also, in addition to reducing the microbial load, it also improves the tenderness of the meat by disrupting the making the physical disruption of the myofibrillar protein. So this the high pressure technology has a dual advantage. It also extends the shelf life by interfering the microbial growth, and also improving the texture and tenderness of the meat especially. So this is a very good technology, but it still need to be a lot of work need to be done to make it commercially viable technology. Next one, please. So then the lot of the plant-based enzymes, especially from the papaya and pineapples, that can be used as a tenderizing agent. So these have especially the papaya has lot of effect on the especially the connective tissue. So even the tough meat can be made tender meat by marinating the meat with the extract from the papaya and even the pineapples. And also the electrical stimulation, also one of the important technology to improve the tenderness of the carcasses. So immediately after slaughter, electrical stimulation can be done, and this will improve the tenderness of the meat. Along with you can also add the plant-based enzyme for improving the tenderness of the meat through marination process. Next one, please. The curing and marination is the purpose of the curing and marination is to improve the juiciness, also enhance the tenderness of the product. So here we can the newer technology like vacuum packaging can be very well used for marination purpose. Here by using the vacuum tumbler, So we can reduce the marination process by it can be done within 20 to 30 minutes. Normally traditionally the marination process takes about few hours, but by using the vacuum tumbler, the marination and curing process can be done within 30 minutes, so that the product will have a more juiciness and tenderness also. Next one, please. And certain ingredients are added into value added product preparation, so thereby the functional property and sensory attributes, especially the texture and juiciness of the product, can be improved by adding certain ingredient while making the value added products. So here we can use the plant based vegetable proteins like soya protein, pea protein, and also the starches like tapioca, rice flours, maida, all those things we can use it. And even certain dietary fibers also added into the meat product, thereby the texture as well as the juiciness of the product can be improved. Even nowadays we started using the hydrocolloids like alginate, carrageenan, xanthan gum, all those things are putting incorporated into value added meat product to improve the functional property as well as the sensory attributes of meat and meat product. Next one, please. So we have completed the technology for improving the sensory attributes of meat and meat product. Now we are going to the technology which going to impart health benefit to the consumer. So here there are different strategies are followed to enhance the health benefit of the food product to the consumers. Here, one is the first strategy is to raise the concentration of certain beneficial compound, especially like compounds like omega-3 fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids, CLA. All those things have good potential, and they are all heart cardiac friendly. And these levels can be improved by either in the pre-harvest stage or at the post-harvest stage. Also, we can increase the level of presence of this beneficial compound into the meat and meat product. And also we can add certain compounds which are not normally present in the meat and meat product, especially the prebiotic and probiotic can be added, so that the health promotion can be done through this intervention. And also we can remove or replace certain compounds, especially the presence of high level of fat is one of the drawback of meat and meat product, so that can be removed by certain strategies. So we are going to discuss what are the strategy to improve the health benefit of meat and meat product through various interventions. Next one, please. So these pre-harvest interventions, we can add the certain health promoting compound like DHA, selenium, vitamin E. All those can be added into the feed of the animals and birds. So thereby these compounds get deposited into the muscles and as well as the even egg of the product, and thereby we can increase the level of this compound in the meat and meat product and egg product also. And post harvestly we can add it when we are making the value added product, we can incorporate, we can add flaxseed oil and certain selenium and omega-3 fatty acids also into the product, thereby the content of the health promoting compound in the both in the raw meat as well as the processed meat can be enhanced. Next one. Then I was telling about the high level of meat. So especially the meat, we can what we can do, we can just trim away the fat present in the meat, so that the level of the proportion of the meat present in fat present in the meat can be reduced. But when we are going for the product making, so what we can do, normally we add about 10% of fat into the product making. Even you can go up to 20-30% also. But when we are making this product, instead of putting a fat, so we can put some fat replacer. This may be a skimmed milk powder or certain soybean product, even egg white, and even some wheat flours. All those things can be added as a replacement for fat, and thereby we can reduce the level of fat present in the meat product. Any product which has less than 10% of fat can be called as low fat meat product. And even if you have less than 5, you can claim it as a extra lean product. So those who are conscious about the presence of level of fat in meat product, they can go for a low fat meat product. Next one. So this is what the when we are preparing the value added meat product, so instead of fat, some fat replaces can be added into the product preparation, and the final product will be made with less fat content. Next one, please. So nowadays, in addition to the technologies, there are a lot of recent years, there have been a lot of disruptive technology like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain-based technologies. So these are evolving to address various issues in the total meat sector, and especially enhancing the meat quality as well as the shelf life of meat products. So there are a lot of research are being carried out in this area, and I think in the coming years we could see the impact of these disruptive technologies in improving the quality attributes as well as extending the shelf life of meat product. So we are waiting for those technology to get it commercialized. Next one, please. So before concluding my presentation, I just want to share. Our director also told that we are running an agribusiness incubator. So this is the only one-stop solution for any meat-oriented entrepreneurship development. So we have technologies for the whole meat value chain, starting from the meat animal production till the reaches the consumers. We have several technologies, and also we have a very good state-of-art infrastructure comprising the experimental abattoirs and pilot plant, and also very good, well-equipped, NABL accredited analytical laboratory. And also we have a good network with the other co-incubators and also line department and regulatory agencies. And currently we have launched an incubation program called Aspire Incubation Program. And unfortunately today is the last day. So I will share this slide with the organizer, and if any of the entrepreneur like to join our incubation program, you are most welcome. Next one, please. So to conclude my own, the processed meat sector development is very important feature of the sector, as well as it is also the future of the organized meat sector. So unless otherwise the meat is not value added, so the economics will not be viable and it not be sustainable. So meat need to be processed and into various value added product. Thereby we can extend the shelf life and also improve its quality attributes. So consumer is always showing a lot of interest in consuming the value added product, but only thing is their expectation is that product should be not only tasty and nutritious, but also it should not create any health issues in that one. So they look for the healthy alternate. So whatever the new technologies we are developing, so we have to keep in mind that this not only extend the shelf life and also improve the quality attributes, but also we have to try to reduce the incorporation of various chemical and harmful chemical, and this which are not healthy one. So those things need to be avoided, and we have to develop the technology which retain the originality of the food as well as palatary attributes. So with this one I conclude my presentation, and I thank everyone for your patient listening. Next one, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation and very informative for everyone.
Thank
Now
you very much.
we are moving towards to the next technical session, which is on meat and poultry processing and equipment. For this session, we have with us Dr. J. Ramesh, Professor and Head, PLA FFS Center for Animal Health Studies. I would quickly like to introduce sir to you. He did PhD in poultry science from Madras Veterinary College, Chennai. He has more than 20 years of experience in teaching and research in livestock, poultry farming, and management. Currently, he is working as a professor and head of the Center of Animal Sciences, PLA FFS Chennai, and guided many postgraduate students in their research work. He achieved in successful rearing of turkey poult of up to 8 weeks in cages and marketed for rearing as well as slaughter, and he achieved in converting free range grazing of Barbary goats to intensive farming system in 2001, and thus control the worm burden with improvement in health status and propagation of the bird. As principal investigation of a project on in vitro efficacy and evaluation of probiotic, and project on development of rapid screening method for monitoring gossipol in feed and livestock products. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir.
Good morning. I am Dr. Ramesh. So my topic given is meat and poultry processing equipment. Presently, I am professor and head at Pharmacovigilance Laboratory for Animal Feed and Food Safety. So this also is related to our this webinar, that is residue analysis in animal feed, so that the residue will not be there carried forward to the end product meat. That way we do the residue analysis in our lab. Okay. Coming to the first slide, it is so my topic is relevant to the equipments in processing, but audience are of different kind of audiences are there. There are startup entrepreneurs and there are students as well as some processing industry people also. So I have tried to make the basics as well as the advanced one. So there will be more slides actually, and I will cover up fast. So Avatar is a meat processing plant and primary aim to produce a healthy, wholesome and clean product which is safe for consumption. So it's a healthy environment. We have to slaughter and produce the product. That is the ultimate thing. For that, the human interference should be minimum. So it should be automated, and with mechanization, we can minimize the contamination and it will be safe for consumption. That's why the equipments come in the picture. And there are special processing plant equipments which are essential in the meat processing plants, because the meat products pass through several processing lines in the process of producing the carcass meat as well as the further processing. So it is a massive operation from slaughtering and processing animals into meat for consumption, which involve special processing plant equipments. They have to function to meet out the specific safety and handling requirements set by FDA and USDA. So this will be dealt by the next speaker, and the equipment should help to make the processing easier, more efficient and more sanitary. So for convenience also, the equipments are important. And the plants rely on special machinery with contact surfaces made of food safe stainless steel. So that is the main property of the equipment used for slaughtering processing plant. Next slide. So any standard abattoir should have the following components. That is lairage, the waiting place for the livestock or poultry before slaughter, and then the slaughter hall and slaughter slab, gut and trip section, detained meat section, offal section, finally the condemned meat section for discarding, and water supply and cold room. These are all the layout in the processing plant. Next. So now this is the flow chart of the meat processing. So this is, everybody knows actually the ante-mortem inspection, followed by the animal fit for slaughter, and then killing, bleeding, dehiding, evisceration, like that it goes. And the boxes, which are all in the rectangle boxes, are critical control points. So there the human interception should be there, and so that to check the quality. So first the ante-mortem inspection are there before, in the lairage it has to be done, like that it goes. Next slide. So this is also same thing, and here the water, this is the different flow chart of the processing chain, and the different components at different portions. That is sterile before initially till it is bled, it is unclean area, and then it goes to clean area. So from clean area and unclean area and the clean area, different components are passed through outside for next, that is for waste actually. So the effluent plant, they have to go to effluent plant, and the water will be treated, and the fat and solids will be processed, and that will be sent to the rendering plant. And similarly in the clean area, from the clean area, the wash water and will be heated, separation has to be taken, and the pieces of the flesh, skin and all will be sent for rendering, where meat and bone meal will be formed, and the inedible fat, edible fat are the end products. and the abdominal viscera will come to the offal handling portion. The stomach and intestinal content will be, the separation cleaning will be done, and the residual water will be sent for effluent plant. Next slide. So this is another flow chart. Here the dotted lines. So these are the portion where this is dirty area and this is clean area. So this is the process flow. Okay. So it's all understood. Yeah. Next slide. So features of meat processing machineries. So what it should be made of? It should be made of rust-free food-grade stainless steel material and easy to clean features to avoid contamination. It should not have many grooves and corrugations, so that some meat or flesh will be stuck inside, and that it should not be tough to remove. It should be easy to clean, and it should also be user friendly and compact and economical, and high efficiency with minimal processing time. So some will have some sensors or heating process. It will take more time. It should not be like that. With minimum processing time with high efficiency, and equipment should have the ability to withstand the tough meat fibers, because there will be it has to withstand the pressure of the meat fibers, which are so strong to deface the blade surface or knife surface and all. It should be able to withstand the tough meat fibers. Okay, next slide. So this is again illustrative slide for flow chart. So here the live animal will be stunned by different method, mechanical, electrical, and gas method. The gas method is not used now. So stunning is done, the animal will become unconscious, and this will be lifted and hang to the railing system for further bleeding and dehiding and decapitation, and foot is removed, and it is lit open and evisceration done. Finally, it passes through, washed and cleaned, and then it goes to the super cooling chamber, chiller and cooling chamber, and then goes for further processing. Next. So this is again same thing. Here before electrical stunning, the animal will be allowed to walk into a chute where it has to, one platform will be there. It will go between the, it's called leg spreader bar. So the animal will lie on it, and by the time it is stunned, it will become unconscious. It will remain on that rail, and it will keep moving, so that the other procedure of hanging will be easy. It will be shifted to another platform, and then it will be lifted to the railing system. Next. So these are the different equipment used for cattle, sheep, goat, pig, and other poultry testing. Okay, next. We will go in detail a few of them. Next slide. So these equipment will be used for primary processing. So for buffaloes, so these are the dish of equipment, and for swine, dish of equipment. So it depends on the type of animal. Some equipment will be exclusively used for the purpose, and for sheep and goat, this is the one. Okay, next slide. So equipments required for establishing a slaughterhouse. So first one is restrainer. So this is the chute. Actually, the animal will be passed through a chute, and which is also called as restrainer. In this restrainer, the leg space will be very narrow, and whereas the upper part will be wider to occupy the wider body. So the trap door should permit only one animal, and it should not be the other animal being stunned or slaughtered. So to avoid fear, before slaughtering, the animal should not get to see the previous animal killing. Next slide. Stunners for meat animals. So as I told, it is a carbon dioxide stunning, captive bolt stunning, and electric stunning. So it's a welfare requirement to achieve painless killing. And the animal should be rendered unconscious for long enough so that the complete bleeding happens quickly. So if proper consciousness is there, the bleeding will be thorough, so that the keeping quality of the meat will be good later on. Next. So first one, the captive bolt pistol stunner. So this is the image of the captive bolt pistol. So it produces non-penetrating blow to the head. It won't pierce the skull. It is an impact. It will be so hard enough that that impact will hit the brain and it will become unconscious. So for sheep and goat, it will be on the above the head, the site of stunning, whereas for pig it will be perpendicular to the forehead, like this. It should be perpendicular to the skull bone. Whereas for buffalo, it is also in this angle, perpendicular to the skull bone. Next slide. So electrical stunner, it's also called Elter apparatus. So this is commonly used for stunning pigs and chicken, also small ruminants. So for larger ruminant, that mechanical method only to be followed. For small ruminant, we can go for electrical stunner. And this causes electrical current into, passing the current into brain or heart of the animal, leading to incoordination of the cerebral nerve cells. So not less than 75 volt is required for stunning meat animals, at least for 10 seconds. And the strength of electrical energy is calculated using the formula watt second is equal to voltage into amperage into time. So based on the animal age, we have to modulate this one and type of animal. Next slide. So mainly two types of electrical stunning is performed: low voltage electrical stunning and high voltage stunning. So in terms of maintaining meat quality, high voltage stunning is most preferred compared to captive bolt gaseous stunning methods. So high voltage method is more preferred. Next slide. So sticking platform or bleeding trough. So after stunning, the animal become unconscious, so the animal will be led. That is, we have to cut the jugular vein and bleeding happens. So to collect the blood, there will be a bleeding trough. So in this image, the picture you can see, this is for small entrepreneur, and this is in the industry level. Animal will be passing through the railing system. So by the time it passes from this end to that end, the complete bleeding should happen. Accordingly, the rate of speed will be maintained. Next. So overhead rail system. As I told, the animal will be stunning. The animal will be hanged into the hook, and it will go through the railing system to the till end of the slaughterment procedure for heavy large animals. And even for poultry also, the railing system is followed, though they are small, for easy handling by the slaughter personnel. So you can see the animal is hoisted, killing, bleeding, free. Here the animal is de-hiding, and then the next level it goes, and this is the split open, and it will go to the chiller room. Next slide. electrical stimulators. Current passed through the carcass immediately after slaughter to accelerate the onset of rigor mortis. The electrical current is passed by electrical stunner. So it's not stunner actually, this is electrical stimulation. So this one is to produce onset of rigor mortis, to enhance the rigor mortis, to accelerate, and aging process also it will enhance. And the pH of 6 is reached within 2 to 3 hours, so that the keeping quality will improve. So it prevents toughening of meat due to rigor shortening. The rigor mortis period is shortened by electrical stimulation, and tenderization is a method of tenderization, and enables rapid cooling of carcasses. Because of the rigor mortis shortening time, the rapid cooling of carcasses happens. It helps in improving tenderness and color of the meat. Next slide. Next slide. So these are the electrical stimulator. So this is how this done. The two terminal will be, and it will be inserted into the, kept on the surface of the meat, so that the electrical stimulation will initiate the rigor mortis and early onset of pH to 6. Next slide. So chutes. So there are different types of chutes, and depending on the type of animal as well as the location in the processing line. So suitable for gravity or one-way conveying of animals or disposable parts of the animals at different stages of dressing. So here the animal will be passed through there, and from here it will go, and once antemortem inspection all done, it will go separately into this method, and it will go further railing. And once it comes here, this will close, and this will go like this. Next animal comes here, and this will go like that. So separate chute for individual animals. Next. The previous slide, please. Previous. Yeah, this is the solid wall where this animal which is coming here will not see the animal being killed. So the other side of this side. So this is chute actually, and this is also chute. Next. Next slide. So carcass wash chamber. So high pressure water jets are provided, and washing cabinet will be formed using 2 screens on both sides of the rail to completely protect splashing or spilling of wash water. So both sides there will be curtains to prevent the spillage of water. Next slide. It is self-explanatory. You can see the image. It will be explanatory. The next is wash basin or sink, which is foot or leg operated to avoid cross contamination. So the person is pressing the leg, and the water comes for washing. Next slide. So knife sterilizer. So at frequent interval, the different types of knives needs to be sterilized, used in slaughter and dressing of the animal. The hot water temperature should be above 820 degrees centigrade. Next slide. Next slide. Gambrels with hooks. So for a large scale commercial slaughter unit, the railing system is used where the gambrels with hooks are there. So this provision will make the carcass carried to one end to other. The leg of the animal which is hooked there. So it's made of galvanized hook with roller for free movement on rail network. Periodical sterilization of hooks is must to prevent contamination. So regularly the hooks should be sterilized. That is important. Next slide. air curtain. So at the entrance of the slaughter hall, there will be air curtain to prevent outside air entering inside. So to maintain a positive pressure like that condition, the air cutter will cut the air from outside to enter inside, as well as it prevents the inner air conditioned air to go out of the slaughter hall. Next slide. Fly catchers are insecticutors. So this will trap the flies, which will contaminate the meat. The unit should be hanging tight from the roof and placed at relevant places to control fly menace. Next is our ultraviolet lamps to destroy the flies. Next, hose reel with gun. So it's for easy cleaning of carcasses, floor, walls, etc., and even the equipment after slaughtering is completed. It's handy and portable and with high pressure. Okay, next. Portable water gun and air gun. Same one, same purpose only. Next. Air gun is used to, with force, the small pieces of particles can be removed from narrow spaces. For that, air gun also will be used. Knife sharpener. The knife sharpener is electrically or battery operated one, and its grinding stone is periodically used for sharpening of the knives in the slaughterhouse. So different grinding surfaces there with emery type fine grind and rough grinding is there. According to the type of knife, we can use this one, and even the scissor also can be sharpened. Next slide. Weighing balance. So in the chute itself, the animal en route, there will be weighing platform. The animal will come standing on the platform, but by then weight will be recorded. This is for live animal weighment, and this is for carcass weight. So at different stages, the railing system itself, when it comes there, we can record the weight. So bleeding weight, dehiding weight, like that and all, we can record at different places. Next. To prevent contamination of meat, there should be adequate space or time gap between different operations. For example, there should be space between stunning and bleeding. So it should not, immediately after stunning, it should not go to the next stage. That's why in that once bleeding started, it will take some time for bleeding. So for efficient bleeding, the animal should get fully unconscious. For that, we have to give some time. So immediately after stunning, we should not bleed. So there should be sufficient time. Similarly, for plucking, between plucking or skinning and any scalding and dispatching meat. So there should be sufficient time gap for that purpose to be given. Next. Because in the continuous railing system, the motor will be adjusted according to the requirement of that operation. So rate of speed should be adjusted accordingly. Further processing involved basic is the different equipments for further processing. So knives and meat saws, meat grinders, slicers. Earlier speaker has covered most of them. Smoker curing ovens, meatball, putty and sausage machines, coolers and freezers, and meat mixers. We'll see one after that. Next slide. So knives and meat saws. So most basic equipment, the knife should have good sharpness for faster and safer process. A meat saw is typically found in larger operations. So in large scale, and for that we need a meat saw. So these are large stainless steel saws with a fine toothed blade, that hacksaw blade like that can quickly butcher all animals into smaller pieces with so automated or motor operated. Next slide. So these are this one left one is different types of knives you use, and this is the meat saw. So your meat saw is used for a large chunk of meat. Next. Meat grinders. So this is essential for which help cut, mix, chop or mince meat into smaller pieces as ground meat products, and can be turned into patties, sausages, and sold as such for consumers to wish to for them to use as they wish. So meat grinders are very essential for value addition also. Next slide. So this is the meat grinder. A large chunk of meat becomes crushed into small pieces. Next. So these are slices to make the meat into thin slices. So slicer is the equipment to produce evenly sized or thickness slices at a rapid pace with automation. So we can adjust the thickness as per our wish for the further process. Next slide. Smoker curing ovens. So smoker is a method of preservation, and this is the smoker unit, and it takes hours for this process, and after at the end the smoked meat will be like this. So used to produce smoked and cured meat. It will be cured with smoke. Products such as ham, bacon, and jerky. Next slide. Meatball, patty, and sausage machines. To avoid manual involvement, specialized machines are used to create specialty products by the matter of minutes. Sausage machines. So first one, so there are different the meatball, patty, and sausage machines. All are of specialty products. Next slide. This can be connected with the meat grinder. So meatball machine. So it can be made hand meatballs also being done, and there are small equipments also there. And this is to some extent a large size with a rate of number of balls will be more per second, per minute. So this is where the meat is kept and the pressure will be given and the balls will be delivered. Next slide. Meat patty maker. So these are the small one, small scale, and this is large scale meat patty maker. Okay, next slide. Sausage machine. So there is a natural sausage and casings and artificial casings are there. So this casing will be plugged inside, inserted here, and the ground meat will be, minced meat will be kept here, and with high pressure, the meat will be pushed into the sausage casings to produce the casings like this. So there are different tubes are there according to the size of the sausage. Next slide. So this is again the same thing. So this is how the sausage comes. We can tie it with a different length. So this is the thread to tie the sausage, and we can cut and use the different pieces separate. So like this it will be hung and preserved. Next slide. Coolers and freezers. So this is very essential in processing plant. Basic equipment necessary regardless of the size or type of meat products. to maintain at the appropriate temperature to prevent spoilage. Because as a earlier speaker told, the -1 to 0 degree centigrade is the optimum temperature for extending the shelf life of the meat. And the super freezing also extends the shelf life 2 months also. So meat and meat products needs to be handled, processed, packaged properly and preserved at low temperature at every stage. So maintaining that low temperature is very nowhere it should be, the meat should be thawed, and again it should not be chilled. Once that is done, then the microbial growth will be multiplied, and again you are preventing it. It won't be controlled, it won't be destroyed, but you are multiplying the microbes. So you have to maintain the temperature in the processing plant. That is essential, especially after chilling. And bringing that body temperature pre-cooling also is very essential. So here that pre-cooling happen. So air coolers, the chilled meat will be retained there, and after the internal temperature comes to particular temperature, then only the meat cuts will be done. Next. The freezer. Finally, the products will be stored here in the freezer. Next slide. Meat mixers. So this one with spices for marination and all, we use this one. Mixed meats and spices, essential for mixing large batches of ground meats with for meatballs, sausages, patties, and other prepared meat products, for uniform mixing of the spices with meat. Next slide. It can be tumbled also to take the. So these are the next comes the poultry processing, and equipment used are bleeding cones, electric water bath stunner. So poultry is entirely different from the large animals. So it's feather coated. So accordingly, we need scalding and defeathering machine is required. So these are the different things we will see later. Next slide. So the live bird is need to be hocked in the shackle. So for further in the railing system, so further bleeding or killing it will be done conveniently. Next slide. This is called shackle. So electric water bath stunner. So once shackled, the birds will be in line and it will pass through the water level. This one is water, and with the electrode, and the electric current will be there, and the head will be submerged into the water. This one till this water level. Head alone will be submerged in the water, and the current passes from head to head up to the body. So it will become unconscious, and like this the level, the bird will come here and it will go up. This is actually, these are the live birds. While coming here, once the head goes into the water, they become unconscious. Gradually the animals, the bird will stop struggling. So once that happens, this is the time given for complete unconsciousness, and once that happens, it will come out like this. After scalding, after stunning, the birds, the unconscious birds are coming up for bleeding. Next slide. Slaughter are done with a halal knife. So the jugular vein alone should be cut. Next slide. So these are the bleeding cones. So the birds will be kept on the bleeding cones, and conveniently, as you've seen in the previous slide also, the head will be, the jugular vein cut, and the bleeding will happen by gravity. And the bird also, heart also will be functioning, and the entire blood will be drained off. And this bleeding is complete bleeding is very essential, but in the butcher shop they are not doing that. They simply cut the jugular vein and put into a bucket or drum. The bird will be struggling, rolling inside the drum, and once the bird dies, they take the bird for further cleaning. In that case, the complete bleeding will not happen. But anyway, for those carcasses are being used for immediate cooking, so it's not an issue. But for proper preservation and storage, the bleeding is very essential and it should be complete. So bleeding cones are very essential. Next slide. And we can harvest the blood meal also. So scalding time. So after bleeding, complete bleeding, then the feather removal, to facilitate feather removal, it has to be passed through hot water called scalding tank. And depending on the age, the temperature will be from 55 to 65 like that. And type of species, for duck and all it will be higher temperature and a long time. So duration and temperature we have to maintain according to. And then finally we have to check the primary feather for plucking. If it comes easily, so it's good. And this is how the scalding drum the butcher shop they do. But nowadays most customers in the wet market they ask for de-skinned meat. But skin is a valuable nutritional component which we are missing now. Earlier, with skin only the poultry meat was being consumed. Nowadays, the skin is discarded because of subcutaneous fat issue. And that is a misconception, and the subcutaneous fat adds to the flavor of the chicken meat preparation. So, and further also, the keeping quality of the carcass also will be good with skin. If you remove the skin, then and then you pack it in the vacuum or some different types of packing, that keeping quality will not be that good. Next slide.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, can you wrap up this presentation quickly because we are running short of time?
Yes, a few more slides only.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So defeathering machine. This is we have seen in many shops. So the drum will be there and the fingers, rubber fingers will be there, and the bird will be defeathered. It can be for single bird as well as the size will be to accompany 4 to 5 birds also. Next slide. And this is automated defeathering machine inline into the train system. Next. This is half-cam neck cutter. So this cutter will use for different, this one and this one for different purpose. And neck cutting and half cutting will be used. Next. The poultry vent cutter. So this knife is used for vent opening. See, inline, the vent cutter cuts the vent portion of the, before evisceration, it will cut around the vent, so that after opening the abdomen, the evisceration will be easy without contaminating the fecal matter into the abdomen. Next slide. And poultry dressing table. So this is essential for, there should be a slight slope so that the drainage will be good. Next. Oil gland cutter. So this is the oil gland, and we have to remove manually as well as after removal of the oil gland, it will be the flat surface here. So next slide. It will be done automatically, mechanical also. So this is the inline oil cutter, oil gland cutter. So it will be tied and this will be used for removing the oil. Next. Poultry stew chiller, pre-chilling. So internal body temperature should fall to 1 degree centigrade. For that, internal screw chiller. So the screw will be pushing the carcass from that end to this end in chilled water for quick chilling. Next slide. So these are the carcasses. Next slide. Jet cleaning machine. So this is, as I told earlier, for cleaning the machine equipments and all. to maintain hygienic condition. So that's all, and thank you. And in addition, I want to say one thing, and there are mobile slaughter units also, so where the in Bangalore also Meetable one entrepreneur is there, and he is maintaining one tempo traveler for as a mobile unit, and he has a slaughter house at outside the town, and from there the carcass he carries in the tempo traveler, and according to the customer in different apartments and particular time he retain there, and the customer come and buy there. So he is maintaining the quality also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. And I hope people got knowledge about the equipments which they can use in their industries or whichever they missed during their production. Thank you, sir, for giving us a time and for this presentation. Now we will proceed to the next technical talk, which is on safety of red meat and poultry products. For this session, we have with us Dr. P. Selvan, Professor DFPT, College of Food and Dairy Science, Dairy Technology, Chennai. So I would quickly like to introduce Sir to you. Sir has a 15 years of teaching experience and research experience in the field of livestock product technology. He has published over 50 papers in national and international journals and proceeding of national and international conferences. He is a life member of the Association of Meat Scientists and Technologies. His area of research and teaching interests are the design and development of processing of equipment, development of meat byproducts, and vice versa. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir. Yes, sir.
Respected Chief Guest Barbade sir, Enhancing Meat, then respected Director Pallimuthu sir, Niftam Tanjore, organizers and participants, fellow speakers. Good afternoon to one and all present here. First of all, I thank Niftam organizers and Niftam Director for providing me this opportunity to share my views related to food safety concerns of red meat and poultry. You all know the United Nations has said food safety is a shared responsibility. That means shared responsibility means the responsibility has to be shared by the stakeholders, those who are involved in meat production, processing, and consumption. So for that matter, we should know what are the safety concerns that are pertaining to red meat and poultry products. Hence, I start with the hazards that are related to red meat and poultry. Next slide, please. So, in brief, we will see the meat supply chain from farm to fork. Generally, the meat production involves scientific farm animal production at farm level, wherein we will grow the animal from the young one stage to market age, where we will provide adequate housing, feeding, breeding, management activities, as well as to control the disease. We will take some prophylactic as well as therapeutic steps to control the disease occurrence in the animal population. Then, once the animal has been scientifically reared, then the animal will be transported through respective vehicles with the veterinary health certificate to the processing plant, where we will slaughter and dress the food animal to obtain the carcasses. So once we have get the carcasses will be subjected to another process called fabrication. The fabrication involves cutting or portioning of carcasses into wholesale and retail cuts. Once the cuts have been made, they will be utilized for preparation of other processed products as specified by Dr. Muthukumar. We will use some technologies to make it into a ready to eat or ready to cook products. Once the product has been prepared, either as like carcasses or cuts or processed meat products, they will be sent to wholesaler for storage and distribution, or it may be kept in the processing plant itself. Then they will be sent to wholesaler. From there it will retailer. From the retailer it will reach consumer. So during this process, the contamination may occur from within or from exogenous environment. So from within means you assume, so here the animals are reared scientifically by applying scientific principle. So the attending veterinarian give a veterinary health certificate to the animal to state that the animal is in good health, and that's why I am transporting the animal. So once it has been loaded on the vehicles, it will be carried to primary processing unit or slaughterhouse, where the veterinarian will receive the animals and he will conduct antemortem inspection to assess the health status of the animal, to take decisions whether the animal is fit for slaughter or not. If he feels that it is unfit for slaughter, then the animal will be sent back to the farm of origin. Then, or if it is fit for slaughter, means they will be subjected to various unit operation that has been briefly specified by Ramesh sir. So they will be subjected to several unit operation to obtain carcass. So once the carcass come, we will apply some technologies like curing, smoking, retard processing, or any cooking procedure. Like that, we will subject them to special processing operation or basic processing operation to make it into ready to eat or ready to cook products. So then we are storing it, then we are sending it to consumer. You see, sometimes the animal might be affected with some disease condition that cannot be identified during antemortem inspection. What will happen? The animal might be affected with subclinical infection, that the animal will be apparently healthy, so they escape the antemortem inspection. So by the way, the animal affected with some endogenous infection reach the consumer plate. There is possibility. Exogenous contamination means here we have provided a housing environment, while transporting in the vehicle we have provided a different environment. Similarly, in the food processing environment, we have provided different environment for animal as well as the carcass. During further processing also, we have provided a different environment, and during processing we are adding some processing aids or food additives. These are all exogenous. So these are considered to be exogenous contaminants. From this environment or these agents or from the personals who involved in this business may transfer some of the agents, either it may be chemical or microbiological, into your live animal or to processed parts. By the way, the exogenous contamination may occur into a product. So next slide. So these contaminants, our topic is related to food safety, because food safety means they are related to pathogens or hazards. So what is meant by hazard? Hazard is, it may be either biological agent or chemical or physical agents of any kind, and that has the potential to cause adverse health effect in the consumer. So it may be either physical nature or chemical nature or biological nature. So next slide. Next slide, please. So we have an array of chemical hazards that may enter into your carcass or cuts from the different environment which you have provided. So in the farm level, some of the contaminants may enter from you would have painted your housing environment. From there, some of the chemical agents might have absorbed through the skin into the animal that has been kept in that particular environment. Or you would have provided some bedding material. That bedding material would have contained some of the chemical hazard that would have get absorbed through the skin into the carcass. Or sometimes the feed material which you have provided might contain high amount of heavy metals. When the animal is consuming such feed ingredients or fodder, they may pick up the heavy metals into their tissues. Or sometimes what will happen, once the carcass will be good and you will make it into some wholesale and retail cuts. When you use these retail cuts for the preparation of processed meat products, what will you do? You will add some food additives. For that matter, FSSAI have kept some MRL levels, right? The FSSAI has given acceptable daily intake level. So in such condition or permissible level, in such conditions you have to use it at the permissible level. If you have exceeded little bit, what will happen? The residues will be there in your product. So when it reaches consumer plate, automatically he will consume more amount of residues. So by the way, all these chemicals, or otherwise what we'll do, when we produce the animal at the farm level, what we'll give? We will give some therapeutic agents to the animal, and we have to adhere with withdrawal period. If we skip the withdrawal period, or if you give in overdose, the residues will be there in the tissues. That way they pose threat to the consumer. So let me see what are the possible chemical hazards that may occur in your red meat and poultry products. Next slide, please. So the potential chemical hazards that may occur in red meat and poultry are listed here. So the possible chemical hazards that may enter from primary production, I have shown you in the this one flow chart. The primary production is the first step, right, at farm level. So the feed and water might be contaminated with some chemicals that may enter into the animal, or the environment like housing or bedding material may pose a threat to the animal. So by the way they reach the animal, or sometimes the attending veterinarian give medicines to the animal. The residues of veterinary medicine might be in the tissues of animals. Next, please. Next slide, please. Then, so now primary and further processing. The primary processing means nothing but slaughter and dressing of animals. That means the live animal will be slaughtered and dressed into carcasses. And again, it will be made into wholesale and retail cuts. And similarly, further processing means the retail cuts will be made into ready to eat and cook products. During that in that processing environment, we use biocides to clean and sanitize the environment. Accidentally, the cleaning and sanitizing agent which we use in the primary and further processing area may get access into a meat and meat product. The food additives which we add during processing also pose a threat, because sometimes, for example, nitrate we use for production of cured meat products. So they have set a permissible level. If you use it in excess level, what will happen? It itself is a potent carcinogen. So what will happen? We continuously get exposed to that carcinogen. So sometime we may get cancer. So the food additives has to be used at the permissible level. Sometimes the non-permitted food additives they will add. That also will pose threat to the health of the consumer. Similarly, we used to keep all the foods in some kind of packaging. So sometimes what will happen, the packaging material and the food it contains, that means in our case red meat and poultry, will interact with each other. By the way, the packaging material or the component of packaging material may leach into the red meat or poultry that has been kept in. Then processing contaminants. Sometimes the every process, what will the scientific formula production, transport, primary processing would be right. So when we subject to further processing, during the processing operation, either it may be return processing or canning or cooking, whatever it is, during processing there will be formation of some contaminants or toxicants that may pose a threat to the consumer. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So another way of entry of these chemical contaminants is food fraud. What they will do, the meat that is unfit for human consumption may be enter into human food chain. I will tell you an interesting story. I have provided training to food safety officers of Tamil Nadu during the year 2012. During that occasion, food safety officer from Namakkal has told a story. When he was indulged in his work, one time one person used to distribute chicken breast muscle at cheaper cost for most number of hotels. And when he inquired in the hotel, they have told this is the person he used to provide chicken meat for us. So they have started watching him. One fine morning, he could find that this guy is collecting all the dead birds from the nearby poultry processing plant for the disposal. He gets some amount for it. Once he brought it to his premises, he dressed it and he portion it and he will pack it and supply it to some of the hotels. So sometimes such food frauds may occur. Next, please. Next slide, please. So we can classify the possible chemical hazard that may occur during primary production into three categories. One is environmental and feed contaminants. That the name itself implies that these contaminants has come from the environment. That has been classified into four categories. One is dioxins and polychlorinated biphenyls, and the second one is brominated flame retardants, and third one is perfluoroalkylated substance, and fourth one is heavy metals. and natural toxins. As these toxins are produced by the microorganism, they have been microorganism and plants, and they have been named as natural toxins, mycotoxins, and plant toxins. They may get access into your meat. And third category is chemicals used in agriculture and animal production system. We use pesticides while growing animal feed and fodder, and that residues of pesticides may get access into animal production system. By the way, it reaches consumer grade. Or sometimes we use some veterinary medicines for therapeutic purposes while the animal is in the stage of scientific farm animal production. So sometimes the residues may enter human food chain. In addition to the commonly used veterinary medicines are antibiotics or antihelminthics, and some of the toxicostatics stats that are used in particularly poultry. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So let me see the environmental and feed contaminants. First category is dioxins and polychlorinated biphenyls. So these compounds are persistent environmental pollutants. That means they won't degrade by nature. It will take long time to degrade. They are usually, these dioxin compounds are used, usually formed during combustion of organic matter, especially wood, coal, and oil. When they go for combustion, there will be formation of dioxins. Right, these dioxin compounds, there are the dioxin compounds has been classified into two categories. One is one is dibenzo-paradioxins. There are 75 polychlorinated dibenzo-paradioxin compounds, and there are 135 polychlorinated dibenzofurans. So they both are collectively called as dioxins. So there are totally we have 210 compounds. Of the 210 compounds, 17 are identified as they possess toxicological concern, of which 7 is from PCDD and 10 is from PCDF. Then the second group, polychlorinated biphenyls, there are more than 209 congeners or derivatives are there, of which 12 congeners exhibit toxicological properties. That toxicological property is similar to the toxicological property of dioxin, so they have been classified as dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls. So dioxins and dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls are persistent organic pollutant. As I already told you, they stay in the environment for longer period and they have higher chemical stability. Next slide, please. That means they are persistent, means they cannot be destroyed by microbial, phytochemical, or chemical degradation, or even by thermal treatment. They won't get degraded. And interestingly, they are also lipophilic compound. And Muthukumar sir has told that meat contains higher amount of fat. That means 3 to 13%. It is highly variable compound. Fat is highly variable compound in meat, and it may contain 3 to 13%. And as this compound is a lipophilic compound, they get accumulated in the lipid portion of the meat tissue. So in addition to that, the compound has the potential to biomagnify and bioaccumulate, and they may persist especially in the fatty tissues of animals and birds. So they may pose a serious threat to consumer health. So what are the sources? Main sources of these dioxins and dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls are animal feed or soil in the courtyard and the housing. In the housing area, they might have used these compounds. They would have gone for combustion of some organic matter, thereby result in formation of dioxin, or the litter material that is used while housing the birds and animals might have this dioxin compound. They get absorbed into the tissues. Next slide, please. Then what is meant by bioaccumulation? Bioaccumulation is briefly, it is nothing but the individual get exposed to a particular compound on regular basis. Because of that, the concentration of particular agent get increased in the tissues of that particular individual animal. Whereas biomagnification is, as you go up in the food chain, the predator animal at the end of the food chain will have more amount of that particular compound when compared to the animals in the lower order of the food chain. Next slide, please. So already we have seen about dioxins as well as dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls. Another category is non-dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls. Their structure and toxicology properties are not similar to that of dioxin, so they have been classified as non-dioxin-like polychlorinated biphenyls. They also has some other potential toxicological properties, like they may induce neurological disorder, neuroendocrine disorder, endocrine disorder, immunological disorder, as well as some of these compounds are considered to be carcinogenic. And they can also accumulate in meat, liver, as well as fatty tissues. Interestingly, they can get transferred to milk and eggs. Usually, Bogina, what we will do, we compose all organic matters. By the way, there will be production of dioxin, and they get absorbed in the tissues. Possibilities are there. Then the second compound is brominated flame retardants. Actually, they are commonly employed in fire extinguishers. However, the compounds are used in other industries also. The most commonly used compounds are polybrominated diphenyl ethers and hexabromocyclododecanes. These are the two compounds commonly employed in other industries. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, first one is polybrominated diphenyl ethers. Previous slide, please. Previous slide. Previous slide, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So polybrominated diphenyl ethers, they are used in plastic industry, textile industry, electronic casting and circuitry. They are using. So as they have access to several industries, they are ubiquitously present in the environment. From the environment, they reach as the food and feed of the animals. They possess. They are also environmentally persistent, and they also possess bioaccumulative properties. Then hexabromocyclododecanes, they are commonly employed in production of expanded and extruded polystyrene material. This for they are using this expanded and extruded polystyrene for making food. So from there it may leach into your food. You see, 80% of this compound hexabromocyclododecanes used in polystyrene foam is released into the environment. In our case, if this expanded polystyrene tray possesses our meat, means 80% of these compounds get transferred to your meat products. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Am I audible? Next slide, please. Excuse me. Next slide, please. Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. So the third compound is perfluoroalkylated substances. They have several industrial and cosmetic uses, and the most important compounds are perfluoroactane sulfonate and perfluoroactanoic acid. They are also chemically stable, accumulate in the environment. They are toxic to human health. Interestingly, they used to bond with the protein that are present in the blood and liver. They are not get accumulated in the fatty tissues. They are present in blood and liver. They don't accumulate in the fat. So sometimes we used to consume rataburial and liver fry. If we chronically consume such products, we may get exposed chronically to perfluoroalkylated substance, especially perfluoroactane and perfluoroactanoic acid. Next slide, please. Then with respect to heavy metals, their accumulation in the tissues of animals is dose dependent. So if the source material contain higher amount of heavy metals, and their concentration will be higher in liver and kidney of the food animals. Whereas the muscle will have lesser amount of heavy metals, because they fond of liver and kidney, because they are involved in detoxification and excretion process, so they used to get accumulated in the liver and kidney. However, their accumulation in the muscle is negligible. Excessive intake of heavy metals, or the cereals that has been contaminated with heavy metals, or higher concentration of these heavy metals in soils, that may pass on to your fodder. These are the ways by which the heavy metal get access into animals. By the way, they reach as consumer plate. So with respect to lead, if you take lead, the grass that has been raised in the smelting plants, when they are consumed by the animals, the wastewater from the smelting plants will contain higher amount of lead, so they get access into the animals, they get accumulated into the liver and kidney. So those who are fond of organ meat, they may there is possibility for getting heavy metal toxicity. Chronic exposure, if there is chronic exposure to lead, means the concentration of lead will be higher in liver, kidney and bones of the animals that has been exposed to it. Next slide, please. So they cause, if they are exposing to that high levels of lead, means, for example, when if you are purchasing meat from a particular person, and he will get the animals from a particular middleman. So if the animals are coming from a particular locality, so you will chronically get exposed to lead. So in such condition, you will end up with lead toxicity. It may cause anemia, weakness, kidney and brain damage may occur. The interesting thing is the lead can cross the placental barrier, so it may reach the unborn child in the womb. So they may pose threat to the nervous system of the baby. Then with respect to arsenic, the arsenic compounds that are used are either inorganic or organic compounds. They are mainly used for parasitic control. The risk of the consumer to arsenic is comparatively less because they won't get accumulated in the muscle, and it is safe for consumption of muscle tissue because it won't reach to induce toxicity in the individual. Next slide, please. So only liver, the animal that has been exposed to arsenic toxicity, arsenic will have higher concentration of arsenic in liver. So if you consume liver from animal that has been exposed to higher concentration of arsenic, then it will pose a threat to consumer. Usually we follow a withholding period of 40 days before slaughtering the animal that has been exposed to arsenic poisoning, knowingly or unknowingly. So what will happen within these 40 days, they get excreted and the level comes to below the MRL. So then sometimes if the exposure period is very less, we can reduce or abbreviate the withdrawal period to 5 days. The common symptoms are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea and muscle cramp. The inorganic arsenic, that if the animal get exposed to inorganic arsenic, they get converted into organic compounds in the animal system. So this compound is excreted through the animal system. So the carryover of this compound is very, very less. So the plants that has been exposed to arsenic are dangerous to human when compared to animal tissues that has been exposed to arsenic compound. Next slide, please. And with respect to mercury, the mercury preparation are used both in agriculture and horticulture dressing. Usually we raise the animal in zero input system. In India, we largely grow animals in zero input system. What will the animal will feed on the fallow lands or nearby agriculture land, where they will use some of the chemicals as a pesticide or rodenticide, like that they will use it. So the spillover will be there in the grasses and on the nearby area. So when the animal get exposed to that compound, they will pick up these agents in their tissues. So the sources of mercury for the animals are mainly feeding animals with seed grains that has been treated with mercury. Sometimes what they will do to return the fungal growth in the seed that is used for sowing would be treated with mercury. When accidentally animal consumes such materials, they get exposed to more amount of mercury, or sometimes they will use sewage sludge as a fertilizer in some of the plants, some of the fields, agriculture fields. So the grasses grown in such area may have higher amount of mercury, and similarly the industrial pollution also contaminates some of the grazing areas. The grasses that are grown in such areas may also contain higher amount of mercury. The accumulation of mercury depends on the chemical structure. Which type of compound it is matter. For example, if it is an alkyl mercury compound, they accumulate mainly in the skeletal tissues and brain. Whereas if it is an aryl compound or it is an inorganic mercury, they usually get accumulated in the liver and kidney. Or if the compound is an organic preparation, they are widely distributed in all tissues of the animal. So the metal is slowly excreted in the urine. However, they get accumulated in the tissues, and they also get excreted in the milk. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Cadmium. So next one is cadmium. Cadmium is a less serious issue, and the sewage sludge and organic cadmium fungicides are the sources for cadmium toxicity. When the level increases to to 200 microgram per gram of wet weight, then only we will have some impact on the animal, on the human being. So they used to accumulate in the liver and kidneys. So, and they may induce cancer and organ system toxicity. Next slide, please.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, we are running short of time. Can you wrap up quickly?
Yeah. Let me complete it. Now, with respect to natural toxins, we have mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are secondary metabolites. They possess some of them are teratogenic, some of them are carcinogenic, some of them are nephrotoxic. So they may also get access to your animal tissues. However, animal tissues are less source of these toxins when compared to others. Except aflatoxin. Aflatoxin may enter into milk. So the next one is next slide, it goes. So there are several mycotoxins, aflatoxin, aflatoxin, then we have deoxynivalenol. Then next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. So now these fumonisin also one of the mycotoxin secondary metabolite. Normally they are found in plant items because we use cereals as an ingredient in poultry. While we formulate feed formulation. So they may get access into poultry. By the way, it reaches consumer. And if you see fumonisin at all, if present, they may pose a threat of esophageal or liver cancer, and it may also cause neural defects in babies. Next one, please. And plant toxins are not a serious threat because they are formed during unfavorable conditions when the plant is getting exposed during growing stage. Normally, they get destroyed in the biological system, so they won't serious. They have less carryover potential. They won't get accumulated, or we can say they get degraded in the digestive system itself. Next, please. And with respect to pesticides, during animal production, we use organochlorine compounds, organophosphorus compounds, naturally occurring toxicants, naturally occurring pesticides we will use, pyrethrin, pyrethroid compounds we use, and ivermectin will be used as ectoparasiticides, the residues of which may present unless otherwise you follow withdrawal period. If you follow withdrawal period, they are safe for consumption. Next. Next, please. Next. With respect to organochlorine pesticides, we have stopped using organochlorine compounds. Majority of the countries have stopped using organochlorine compounds in agriculture. Even some of the countries, they have left using organochlorine compounds 30-40 years back. However, we could find the residues of it in tissues of animals. By the way, they reach the human food. Next one, with respect to veterinary medicine products, we commonly use some antimicrobial compounds. We say antibiotics, several antibiotics we use. They may leave residues during the production, unless otherwise it be adhered with withdrawal period. If you maintain withdrawal period, they are safe for consumption. We use sulfonamides, penicillins, cephalosporins like that, nitrofurans, and hydroxyquinolones we use. And these compounds may leave residues unless otherwise, because in India we adopt wet market system. We haven't organized primary production system. So the animals that have completed their productive life are salvaged for human consumption, or that cannot produce more are salvaged for human consumption. So they may possess all the possibilities are there. So we should be care about it. Next slide, please. These are the compounds we use, and sometimes they will use some of the antibiotics as a growth promoter. However, some of the antibiotics, if you use at low concentration, they have some growth promoting effect. However, in India, this is not a serious threat, but Western countries, it is very important. Why we should know is sometimes some imported meat products may reach our market. In such condition, we should have idea about these compounds. That's why I have given all this. Then next, please. and sometimes they will use growth promoters. This is also not a problem in India. However, in Western countries, to produce to favor lean meat production, they sometimes use these compounds illegally. So they use natural sex steroids, synthetic steroids, or synthetic steroid progesterone peptide hormones are used to increase the lean meat production. So the exotic products that enter into a market has to have a check on these compounds. And beta agonists are specific compounds, and they are mainly used for bronchodilation purpose. However, they have a secondary property of a nutrient repartitioning capability. That means the nutrients which we have given to the animal will be partitioned for protein accretion rather than fat formation, so that we can get a meat of lean quality. So they may use it, but it is not being followed countries like India. And even antibacterials also we are not using so far, because we don't have organized meat production system except poultry. Next. So this is okay, no problem. These are the they have been given in a nutshell. What we have discussed has been given in the table. Next one. Next one, that's all. We can go to microbial hazards, like microbial hazards. Next. These are all we have discussed already. This is leave it. Chemical hazards that are occurring during processing. So we know that from the environment, processing environment, we can get some of the agents. For example, cleaning and sanitizing agent may get access to a product. Like chlorines or quaternary ammonia compounds that we use for cleaning and processing our equipments and machineries may get access. In addition to that, we should know about the process-induced toxicants. For example, next slide you go, please. Next slide you go, please. And next also. Next. This we will see first, then we will see about process-induced toxicant. Migration of substances from packaging material. For example, we commonly employ low-density polyethylene for packaging our food products. And further, it is being used as an innermost material. When we develop some laminate, we use it as an innermost material or food contact surface. What will happen? They may leave the residues of diphenyl butadiene as they get migrated into a meat tissue. Similar way, sometimes we will use nylon 6 polymer to hold the meat. What will happen? Epsilon carbolactam is a precursor compound. While preparing nylon 6, they may get leached into a meat with respect to migration of substances from packaging material. Next one is, these are some examples I have given. Next. And these are process-induced toxicants or contaminants. As I already told, we have the our meat and the ingredients that we are using for processing our meat products might contain some of the precursor material. When we subject them to some form of basic processing or some form of special processing operation like curing, smoking, retarding, or some other basic processing operation, what will happen? The components get interact with each other. There will be resulting in formation of some of the toxicants. They may pose a serious threat. For example, we will see meat contains creatine as well as protein. That means 18 to 22% protein is there, which are composed of amino acids. And exogenously, we prepare some of the meat products. We will add, for example, cured meat products. We will add sugar. After that, when we subject them for cooking, what will happen? They will interact with each other. There will be formation of heterocyclic amines. So already, International Agency for Research on Cancer has identified nearly 9 compounds, of which 8 compounds of heterocyclic amines are classified as probably carcinogenic human, and 1 compound has been classified as potentially carcinogenic to human. It doesn't mean we should avoid processed meat products. We should control the processing parameters. We should identify which of the processing parameters results in the production of such high level of heterocyclic amine. What ways we can mitigate? Like that, we have to think as a food technologist. The next slide, please. A similar way, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or PAH, these are compounds that are commonly formed in incomplete combustion or pyrolysis of organic matter. Meat itself possesses protein, carbohydrate, fat, all are organic matter. For example, you take charcoal grilling. Charcoal grilling, we keep the meat over the charcoal and we go for combustion. we go for uncontrolled combustion. What will happen? The charcoal itself an organic matter and meat possesses organic matter. When we go for incomplete combustion, that to uncontrollably, what will happen? There will be formation of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Generally, smoking, drying, barbecuing, grilling, baking, frying, and broiling, all these processing, all these cooking methods results in formation of these compounds. So we should have an eye on it. So benzopyrene is one such compound. Benzopyrene is one such compound that has been designated as carcinogen to human by IRC. Next slide, please.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We are actually running short of time, sir. You have to.
Okay. Then let me complete. Nitrosamine is another. Then microbial hazards, if you take, we have several microbes like Campylobacter commonly found in poultry, as well as our pig carcasses may contain Campylobacter coli, and our poultry carcass may contain Campylobacter jejuni. Similar way, we can find Yersinia enterocolitica in pork carcasses or pork products. Similar way, Listeria we can identify in milk and milk products as well as pork products. These are cyclotrophic pathogens that may possibly present. Nowadays they have gained the status of environmental contaminant. In addition to that, Clostridium botulinum is one such organism. They may produce preformed toxin. So they may also pose threat, because nowadays the processed meat products addition is increasing. So we should have an idea about the food safety concerns related to fresh meat as well as processed meat and poultry. Then in addition to that, we have several other organisms. And regarding viruses, we have coronaviruses as well as we have influenza, avian influenza that are commonly found in poultry meat, poultry birds, but not in meat. However, some cases high virulence or high pathogenic avian influenza has been found in meat also. So they have to be subjected to adequate cooking temperature to reduce the organism. And WHO has stated that if you properly cooked it, it is safe for consumption. And they are coming as exogenous contamination. So what we have to do is we have to reduce the exogenous contamination of such meat. And coronavirus also, they are less stable in environment. So if you leave it for a short period of time, they get inactivated. It's all with respect to safety concerns with related to red meat and poultry. And one thing left is virotoxigenic E. coli. E. coli 157H7, they may pose a serious threat of hemorrhagic uremic syndrome or hemorrhagic colitis. And some of these pathogens are having very low infective dose. That is the serious threat. So even a low number of organisms can cause a serious threat to your consumer. So the quality personnel, those who are working in a processing environment, or those who are preparing the product, should be cautious about the parameters, processing parameters, to ensure safe, providing safe food to the consumer and to gain the reputation of their own company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.